Hi, Lou here to give some examples of the natural formats for games. Now, when I say formats, I'm talking about whether the game is going to be a tabletop game or a video game, because of course many games can be done as one or the other, or perhaps even as an outdoor sport or something else, but I'm mainly interested in tabletop and video. Some design methods encourage use of one format or the other. Some are more or less neutral. In this example, parts of the game would work better as video and parts perhaps as tabletop. The game is called Star Princes or Star Prince, a prototype space war game. It was originally for 2 players, but it's now for up to 5. It has both strategic and tactical components. There's a geomorphic board, I'll show you an illustration in a minute, of 25 hexes each, and you can fit 2, 3, 4 of these together in various arrangements, and each one depicts various star systems and gas clouds and black holes. Players place their pieces face down initially to hide their identity, and they stay face down until they engage in a battle or until they move more than 1 hex. And even after they're face up, they're in a stack, and the opponent can only see the first piece in the stack. The opponent can't examine the stack. Well, here is an illustration. This is a partners game, so we have red and yellow pieces in the same place, which wouldn't normally happen if each player was playing independently. You see that some of the pieces are face up, or at least the one on top. Most of them are face down. This is fairly early in the game. The strategic part, fairly obviously, would work better as a video game. On the tabletop, players often have to look into their stacks, their piles, to see what they've got because they've forgotten. I mean, we all have CRS these days. Supposedly, originally it was only old people like me who had it, but now everybody's got it. They can't remember stuff. Now, the players also like to get big piles, to have big fleets, and those are also awkward to manipulate physically, where in a video game it'd be easy. Of course, in general, the whole fog of war thing works much better on a computer than on the table. Then there's a tactical component. When ships end up in the same hex, after movement, they have a battle. This is conducted on a separate 8.5 by 11 hex board with face-up pieces, though there's an option to initially place them face down. What makes this work well on the tabletop, but would be problematic on video, is the sequencing. In the setup, and then in the firing, the attacking, and then in the movement, the players alternate activating 1 piece at a time. So one player shoots 1 piece, the other player shoots 1 piece. You keep track of the ones that have shot. If your ship is destroyed before it gets a chance to shoot, too bad. You've just lost that chance to shoot. Here is an example of a small battle. Again, partners, the red and yellow are on the same side. 6 ships. The cubes are there to help remind the players of which ships have already shot. Now, this is a fairly typical sized battle, but you can have battles with 20 or more ships in them. Now, anytime you have a lot of rapid back and forth decisions, the tabletop is going to work much better than video. To turn it into video, you'd have to introduce simultaneous adjudication of shooting, and players would have to specify alternate targets for many ships in case their first target was already dead. It wouldn't be the same as the tabletop. It wouldn't be so far off. So that part of the game works better as a tabletop. If I had to choose how to implement Star Princes one way or the other, I would probably choose video because of the hidden movement and so on, rather than tabletop, but a tabletop game is what it is now. Here's another brief example, a space war game I've designed called Doomstar, which is originally a tabletop game but first published as a video game scheduled for mid-September 2016. The ships have hidden identities as ships pieces do in La-Toc or Stratego. The game actually works better as video because the software then prevents the players from accidentally doing something that's against the rules. Whereas if you're playing On the tabletop, one player can do something against the rules, and in some situations the other player can't know that that's happened. There's no way for them to know. So that's another game that actually is probably better off as a video game than as a tabletop game. We can probably say that as many two-player Space War games, they're going to work better as video games. But when you have games for more than two, they usually work better as tabletop games rather than video games. So Star Princess, having originally been a two-player game, would make sense as a video game, but now when it can be played by up to 5, it makes more sense as a tabletop game. Thanks for listening.